there, thanks for tuning in to this little lesson about jazz bowing and jazz rhythm for violinists. So, one of the things that can be quite difficult for violinists when you first try to get into playing jazz is understanding how rhythm works in jazz. And I think one of the things that's difficult about this for violinists is we've generally come from maybe two different places, either classical music or folk music. And in classical music, there's no real concept of like groove. Now, groove is sort of like rhythm that sort of makes you want to move a little bit. Classical music doesn't really have a sort of a groove to it. I don't want to, maybe some people don't agree with me, but that's what I'm saying. It's not really a groove-based music. Now, folk music, a lot of folk music a lot of it does have that groove, but the difference between folk music and jazz music is that groove is generally very consistent in folk music. It is there actually a lot of the time to make people want to dance. And in jazz, groove is very, like everything in jazz, it's sort of improvised and it's inconsistent. And that's sort of part of the charm of it, is you never know what's going to happen. Rhythmically, you never know what's going to happen. Even if you're hearing someone playing long quaver lines, da 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 da, they might be accenting loads of different notes in there that the ear is not expecting. And that's one of the things that, in my opinion, that makes jazz so exciting, is you just never know what's going to happen. And this is the thing, is trying to get this into your own playing can be quite difficult for a classical or folk violinist. So this is my little way of doing so. Now, it's all about accents. Accenting on the violin is it's actually sort of a personal thing, how we accent. My way of accenting is pinching the bow, and I quite like to I like the idea of like ghosting most or a lot of notes within a phrase and accenting certain notes in there, and that being improvised. So when I say ghosting, I don't mean fully ghosting, I just mean quite quiet notes there. And right now I'm just going up and down, and as you probably know already, jazz is based a lot on quavers and swung quavers. So there I'm just swinging some quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, how we swing quavers is, again, it's a personal thing. I don't want to tell you how you do that. It's all about what music you want to play and what music you're into, what music you've been listening to. But that's how I swing. That's about my swing feel. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, what we want to try and do is we want to be able to accent every single note within a bar, okay? So let's say we're in 4/4, which a lot of the time you are when you're playing jazz or swing or whatever. I want to be able to accent every single quaver in there, and this exercise is just basically doing that in turn. So starting accenting on the 1, accenting on the 1 and, 2, 2 and, 3, 3 and, 4, 4 and. And I'll show you it like this. We're just going to do this on like an open G for the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one, I'll accent the 1 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Then we'll do the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the 2 and 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. And do the 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll do the 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we'll do the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And lastly, we'll do the and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and. So I'll put that all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. So there we go. I've accented every single quaver within a bar of 4. And if you can get to the point where you can do that sort of naturally without thinking too much, you know, practice each one in turn. So each accent, sit on that for a while. I went through them quite quickly, but if you're practicing this, practice them each one in turn until you feel comfortable with that. And in this way, we're starting to really get a more like a more three-dimensional view of how you know, how the quavers in a bar, and how they work and where they all sit. Try it. You can do it with a scale as well. So let's do it with the G major scale. Yeah, basically doing that will help you get a little bit more rhythmic diversity and a little bit more I mean, basically you're just going to start hearing offbeats a little bit more in your own playing if you do this exercise regularly. And offbeats, as you might well be aware, are quite important in jazz. So this way, yeah, this is a really nice way of just covering all the rhythmic bases in a bar of 4/4 with quaver lines. Hope that helped, and please like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. See you again soon. Bye.